How's it going, you sexy beasts? For my first ever video for World of Warcraft, I wanted to cover a topic a good friend of mine was having difficulty with. One major aspect of the game that I appreciate is visiting the raids of yore, picking up gear for transmogrificational purposes, or trying to find that sexy mount that has eluded me for so very long. Today we'll be taking a look at how to solo the 25-man version of Malygos, the Spellweaver, found within the Eye of Eternity raid, which is located in Koldara, which is also located in Borean Tundra. Whew. This boss in particular was essentially the Onyxia of Wrath of the Lich King, being the solo enemy within an entire raid. Malygos has a few really awesome looking items for transmogrificational purposes, particularly with his assortment of weaponry in the 10-man version. These include Hailstorm, an icy one-handed sword, the Barricade of Eternity, an azure tower shield embossed with runes, and Black Ice, a massive polearm with dancing runes across its entirety. It's also a pretty hazardous road condition. Keep in mind there's also plenty more items such as the recolored Death Knight gear that some people may want. Oh yeah, and he drops Drakes. Yep, Drakes with an S. He drops the Reigns of the Azure and Blue Drakes. The Azure Drake itself looks just like the Drakes flying around outside the raid, whereas the Blue Drake looks like, well, just like a Blue Drake. These two Drakes can drop on either 10 or 25-man difficulty, so do whichever difficulty you feel most comfortable with or are wanting any particular loot from one loot table or another. This particular run was recorded on my Survival Hunter with some pretty average gear with an item level of about 530.
My patience has reached its limit. I will be rid of you!
Since my pet didn't really like to taunt the boss, I took slightly more damage than I was wanting, but it was pretty manageable. Anyway, phase 1 is pretty easy to handle. He'll cast Arcane Breath, dealing about 25,000 arcane damage. Also, once he casts Vortex, you'll be sucked up into the air, taking light arcane damage over time. During this, you can still cast your abilities in auto attack, allowing full DPS to be continued during this phase. Once you land, destroy one of the power sparks that may have spawned and hammer on the damage. At 50%, Malygos will take flight and say how that he's kind of sad he hasn't been able to one-shot us yet.
I had hoped to end your lives quickly, but you have proven more resilient than I am.
Hammer on all your cooldowns at this point, as the more damage you can deal while he's flying in the air, the better off you'll be for phase 3. Phase 2 is all about eliminating the newly spawned Nexus Lords and Scions of Eternity. The Nexus Lords are melee units that will hover around on their disc to beat your face in. These should be taken off first as they deal the most damage. If you're playing a melee character, you can hop on their disc and fly to the Scions in order to take them out much easier. Even if you're not a melee class, I recommend doing so in order to get the achievement Denying the Scion. Depending on how quickly you perish through this phase, Malygos may run over and do a deep breath, which is easily telegraphed by him clearly yelling out,
"You will not succeed while I draw a breath!"
Take cover within his big-ass purple bubbles he's been shooting out, and you'll be fine. After all these Scions and Nexus Lords have been eliminated, he'll move into Phase 3, which is arguably the hardest part of the fight for us solo adventurers.
Enough! If you attempt to reclaim Azeroth's magic, then you shall have it.
The beginning of Phase 3 involves Malygos destroying the platform we've been fighting on, and us falling to our deaths. Only to be saved by the Red Dragonflight. Woo! Yay, a vehicle fight. Anyway, this phase is all about timing, repetition, and resource efficiency. Luckily for us, our item level scales the health of our Drakes, making this fight pretty easy. It does not, however, scale our Drake's damage, so it won't be making it any faster. As Malygos descends to eye level, hammer on 5 stacks of Revivify, or your number 3 key by default, to go to heal over time going on your Drake. Once the fight begins, get your 2 combo points by using Flame Spike, or number 1, and finish it off with Engulf in Flames, which is your number 2 ability. Essentially, the remaining fight for this phase can be boiled down to 1, 1, 2, 3. Over and over again. 2 combo points through Flame Spike, using the combo points through Engulf Flames, then refreshing your heal over time stacks by reapplying Revivify. You will occasionally fixate his eyes upon you. In order to combat this, just sit still and keep pressing 1, 1, 2, 3. After his fixate, he'll shoot a static field toward you, which you should just rotate either clockwise or counterclockwise to avoid. If you don't move out of the static field, you'll be taking far too much excessive damage that will out-damage your heal over time stacks. Remember, your engulfing flame stacks are what deal the most damage in this fight, so getting the rotation down to a science is the only difficult part of this phase. I got Malygos down to about 26% before even getting onto a red drake, and finished off the fight with 23 stacks of engulfing flames. Of course, your experience may vary.
Unthinkable! The mortals will destroy everything! My sister, what have you...
I did what I had to, brother. You gave me no alternative. And so ends the Nexus War.
Overall, soloing Malygos was a very enjoyable feat. It took me only 2 attempts to really hammer out the details, and I got pretty lucky with how much damage I was able to deal to Malygos during his first phase. This boss will surely be on my weekly repertoire to try and get that beautiful Azure Drake to drop. What boss would you like to see in the next episode? Or would you even like this series to continue? It's up to you. Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a big ass thumbs up. It helps a lot. If you didn't, thumbs it down and let me know what I can improve upon. Want to see more videos like these? Then go ahead and subscribe. It's free.